Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Gary. Hope you've all had a good week and I hope you have all had a good weekend. England are under 21 European champions. What a match. What a match. What a performance from the lads. What a performance from the lads throughout the whole tournament really. Back-to-back European titles. I know it's been well publicised that we've done this. We did it in the 80s, but to do it at all, and particularly now when the talent pool and the challenge of even just getting to these finals at this level is so difficult. What an achievement. What an achievement. And I think England deserved it. England completely deserved it last night. They were the better team. It was finishing. I was a bit worried finishing was going to cost us, actually. It seemed like, it was the most English thing ever to take a 2-goal lead, wasn't it? And then concede 2 to make it 2-2. But we got there in the end, and it was a deserved victory, 100%. And the question has to be tonight, you can see it in the chat, it's already out there, can England finally turn success at youth level into success at senior level? It's just, the talent's there, isn't it? The talent seems to be coming through, but the next step is now all about, can we do it? Can we do it when it matters? And is the World Cup too soon for some of these lads? I mean, I wouldn't say so, not in this day and age when you've got talents such as Lamine Yamal at 17, 18 or whatever the ridiculous age he is, doing crazy things. Saka coming on the scene when he came on. Teenagers winning games in football isn't a new thing, and it's certainly not a new thing now. So any of these players, I mean, the vast majority of that England team were 21, 22 years of age. So you've got to think some of these players, they've got to come in and make an impact, haven't they? They've got to come in and make an impact next summer. And Lee Carsley's done a fantastic job. I just can't go on about it enough. Back-to-back European champions. It's just an insane achievement. It really is. We beat Spain. We beat the Netherlands. We beat Germany. The only team you could probably argue that we didn't beat, because we didn't play them, and that's France. But England beat everyone it was put in front of them, and it's the one criticism, isn't it, that the senior team always have. We can't beat a big team when we come up against them, and England have steamrolled everybody. That performance in particular against Spain for me in the tournament was the standout performance. Not so much the final, even though it was a great performance. I feel like Spain were everybody's favourites for that Euros. I was not very optimistic going into that game, should I say, that England were going to come out of that. And we played phenomenal. We played absolutely phenomenal. And it feels like, in hindsight, looking back, the tournament was ours. As soon as we beat Spain, it was there for us to take. And we did it. And ultimately, I know people will look at the match and say that Germany hit the woodwork a couple of times. But look, we were the better team. We were the better team last night. It'd have been a travesty if we won to one. And I was so pleased. I was so pleased for the lads. I didn't want it to go to penalties. I love penalties. If I'm a neutral, I just think, forget extra time. Let's just go straight to penalties. I did not want penalties last night. And I'm glad it didn't come to that. But it was a fantastic goal. I mean, Rowe, did he get his shoulder on it? I think, was it his head, his shoulder? I don't know. But what a ball in. And it was brilliant. It was a brilliant performance. Let's go to the chat. Andrew, Match Channel, Crystal, Foundation. Good evening, all. What a weekend, lads. What a performance. What a performance. First off, I do want to apologise as well for not streaming the final 3 games. It's so worked out. I have, as some of you may or may not know, I've been in Menorca for the past week. I watched England beat Spain in Menorca, which was marvellous, by the way. Absolutely brilliant. The Netherlands game was never a goer. And then yesterday, I was coming back from the airport. By the time I got back, trust me, I was absolutely knackered. And I just couldn't stream it. I just thought, I'm just going to sit there. I'd been on the go since 4 o'clock in the morning. And I thought, I can't do it. And I knew I'd be live streaming today. So I thought, I'll just sit back and relax. So apologies I haven't been able to cover that. But we will be covering the Women's Euros moving forward. But yeah, what a night. What a performance. Yeah, it was brilliant. It was Menorca, not Mallorca, so it might have been my pronunciation there. Let's have a look at some of the chat. Foundation, Harvey Elliott needs to be in the England squad. 2026, I see Thomas Tuchel wants Elliott. We'll come on to some of these players who, I mean, we're gonna pick our outstanding player of the tournament, because I've got a player who no one seems to be mentioning really, and I think some of the other players that have had the plaudits weren't that great. I'll be honest with you, I don't think Harvey Elliott, outside of his goals, was that brilliant. And I don't mean to sound really random and harsh there, but I don't think he was that good of a player in the tournament, genuinely. He just scored the important goals, which is, of course, a key mark to a big player. But I think his general play within the game wasn't that strong. Andrew Joyce, Amari Hutchinson should be a good bet to solve our left wing problem next summer if he gets the right move. Look, you've beat me to it there, Andrew, because Hutchinson was country mile our best player, our best attacking player by any means, but by far our best player at that tournament. Crystal, France aren't particularly good at under 17, under 19 or under 21 level except the Olympics last year. Crystal, some of the England 21 players might take another 2 to 3 to be senior, really like Alex Scott, Elliot Anderson and James Beadle. Tip my hat to Lee. FA got to work on how to integrate him into the men's team, said Solomon. We'll come on to, obviously, Lee Carsley as well. Josh, channel member. So, bow down to you, my friend. Hope you're well. Good evening, champions of Europe. Yes, we are indeed. Absolutely brilliant. 2 or 3 years to be England ready. Senior ready, says Crystalonco. The statistics show, even in all teams, this is across all of Europe, the statistics show that the vast majority of these players will not go on to be top players at senior level. We're lucky if you get 3, 4. You're very lucky. So we need to take this with a pinch of salt. Some of these players are going to go on and have really good careers. Hopefully all of them do. Whether many of these players come on to be key players, put my teeth back in, England senior players, it's going to drop off. You're only looking at 3 or 4. Anonymous Mango, going to be interesting to see if Tuchel stays beyond the World Cup now, especially now he has expressed interest in staying longer. Carsley got to be sniffing around the senior team. It was an interesting one. It's sort of a bit like this Gareth Southgate thing, because he didn't want the senior job neither, did he? And Carsley seemed to not want it, neither during his time in charge. But look, if Thomas Tuchel goes tomorrow, he's everyone's choice, isn't it? He is everyone's choice to take over. Whether we will or we won't, I don't know. I mean, the World Cup is only now a few months away. Well, 12 months away. He is the most obvious likely successor. And again, it goes back to he'll know all the players he's working with. He's got a system. It just makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Whether it'll happen or not, though, a month is a very long time in football. Let's wait and see. I think Carsley might need to do something at club level to be seen as senior England boss. I think you're right for fans who only watch club football, Crystal, but I don't think he needs that. I mean, some of the most successful managers at international level have never really managed at club level or done really poor at club level. So I don't think he needs it. I think for some fans you might be right, but I think they're fans who we just need to forget about, really. Amari Hutchinson and Alex Scott were consistently brilliant, says Josh Phillips. I would absolutely agree. And Elliot Anderson. Now, on my channel, on my community page, I did put a message out and a tweet about Elliot Anderson saying, are the England senior team sleeping on Elliot Anderson, given the fact of where he plays and how light we seem to be in that position at senior level? Him, Elliot Anderson and Hutchinson, given again the lack of depth we've got in those areas of the pitch at senior level, you've got to be looking at them, haven't you, and thinking, can they push for something? Tuchel fancies Rashford too much, unfortunately. I reckon he just starts for him if he's fit and playing. I mean, that would be a travesty, wouldn't it? Rashford's done, mate. Mega game, wasn't it? Chris Longcott, I think 16 of Germany's 2019 and 21s were capped at senior level. Yeah, I mean, look, let me clarify this then. They may well be capped. I'm talking about players who are going to make a difference. You know, your regular England starters, I wouldn't even class Phil Foden as a regular England starter, for example, now. So you see where I'm coming from that point of view. By all means, I expect probably multiple figures, double digits to go and get a senior England cap. How many are going to get 20 plus caps? I think very few. Awesome to see the England youth teams playing very well. Happy to see under 21 win the Euros. Maybe Carsley would be a great fit for Euro 2028. I think he most definitely would be at the minute, wouldn't he? Wish he was given it. Just made sense to carry on the work Southgate had done with someone who knows the FA. I mean, I think we all do, but I don't think Carsley he didn't fight for it, did he, Josh? Or he didn't seem to, or he seemed to 1 minute want it and then next minute not. And then there was that really poor game against Greece. And then that's when Thomas Tuchel was announced after. And I know the FA and everyone says they're not linked, and they probably weren't linked, but the announcement just seems a bit odd. And yeah, I just don't know. I think it was too soon for Lee Carsley and himself before Tuchel, but I think he's got to be ready, hasn't he? Come next summer, he has to be ready if he's still in the youth level job. Problem is, though, he's got it pretty cushy, hasn't he? He's got it pretty cushy at the youth level. I mean, he could be there for another 4 years. If he goes into the next Euros and we fail to win or whatever, who cares? He's going to get another go in it. He could be there. It's job security for him, isn't it, really, for 4 years? I think Carsley should be Tuchel's assistant for the 2026 World Cup. I think there's definitely a fact or a point in him being there. He should be there, shouldn't he, as part of that setup? I don't know whether that actually happens, though, as standard. Does the under-21 coach routinely go to senior tournaments along with that coaching backroom staff? I'm not sure they do, but it would make sense, wouldn't it? I think that would make sense. Even as a teenager, Elliot Anderson had physicality. It's not whether Carsley's good enough, he is, but being England boss has huge PR duties and club success, often wrongly, is seen as a requisite. The problem is he was even getting stick, wasn't he, about not singing a national anthem, despite him being the senior under-21s manager for how long and no one giving a damn. It's just all that crap that comes with the senior role that maybe put him off a little bit. I would like to see more of Rice, Mainu and Bellingham at midfield in September camps. Personally, Mainu had bulked up massively in the off-season and is looking fast. Josh, I really liked Elliot, but do agree with you what you said about him. He did go missing a bit sometimes, but the goals were huge. Can't argue with that. Loved the way he was giving it the Germans. Yeah, at the end, have you all seen it where he's like that? I don't know who's actually giving it to. I believe it's to the fans. I don't know. But yeah, he's gonna. I think what we all liked. I think what we all liked is the passion in those lads, didn't they? They wanted to win it for the country, didn't they? And it feels like it's a long time since we've sort of seen that heart. And we're English, and no matter what we think, we're a passionate nation, and we like to see our players with that passion and that heart and that drive. And it's all what it's. Look at club football. Clubs love players. Club fans love players who play with their heart on their sleeve. This is built into us as a nation. We love that. And when you looked at that under-21 squad, when they were coming off injured, when, you know, Elliot Anderson, when they're at the end, you can feel it. They wanted it, didn't they? That's what seems to be missing, or what often people say is missing from the senior team. It felt like there was a unit. They wanted to win it. They was all in it together. And yeah, that's what really came through strongly. Why do the under-21 women's win stuff all the time, but the men's senior squad can never win anything? Well, maybe changing, and this is what the discussion's about tonight. Those that are joining late, can England turn success at youth level into senior success? Can we now do it? Tuchel looked like he was trying to cram too many tactics in the first 4 games, too much structure when you have 3 to 5 weeks of training, depending on if a cup final is happening. There was too many changes as well, wasn't there? I mean, I think he took Hutchinson out of the first game, replaced him in the second game. No idea why, because he was by far England's best player in that opening game. But look, I'm not going to sit here and criticise him for what he did in the group stage. We've won the tournament, so that's all that matters. Bit late this evening, great for the under-21s, but not getting too carried away, says Russell. Some players will progress, sadly. For some, it's the best it'll ever get for them. Yeah, and that's what I was just saying, Russell. I think it's going to be extremely rare. If 10 of these players get above 10 caps, for example, you're probably only looking at 3 or 4, small bunch of players who are going to have a significant impact at England at a senior level. Carsley has only had 1 bad game with the senior team anyway. Solomon Charles got to integrate Lee, not drop him in like last time, looked all too sudden. Yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't know if it is routine. I wouldn't be surprised if Lee didn't go to the World Cup next year as part of Tuchel's backroom staff. I really wouldn't be, because Tuchel's got his backroom staff. He knows he's got the setup he wants. He might not want that distraction. Or is that the normal thing? Will Lee be going? I don't know. I don't think success on England at next summer's World Cup rests on whether Lee Carsley's in the backroom staff or not. I just, personally, I'm a common sense type of guy, and I think, well, why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he go? What harm could it possibly do? But who knows? Football is a very weird thing. Elliot and Anderson are fantastic players, but Wharton is the real jewel in the crown. Here's an English Perlo. Right, so this is the other thing. Obviously, there's a lot of players. We've won back-to-back European titles. And all teams, you can argue all European teams at this summer tournament didn't have their strongest possible squads. That's obvious. But England obviously had no Delap, no Wharton, no Branthwaite. There was a lot of players that were missing who were good, strong players that would have probably been starting for this under-21 team. So we're stacked, aren't we? We look really, really strong. It's just we've got to bring it through. I think Livramento, Kwanzaa, Hutchinson, Scott look top England players in the future. I'd agree with that. And they're all important players in important areas of the pitches where England still need that depth. Livramento, I think, is probably one of the most certain to get up a senior call-up. I think Anderson, I think I would chuck Anderson in there, Elliot Anderson. I really would if he carries on the way he's going. Hutchinson, honestly, I can't say it enough. I think Hutchinson is absolutely insane. He was brilliant at the summer tournament. He was the best player. He was the best player England have got. The fact that Elliot won the player of the tournament is a joke. Yes, he scored important goals, but Hutchinson was just... It was immense. It was absolutely immense. And you look at the problems England have on that left-hand side. Now, no one's doing half. I can't remember one game in the past 3 years where a left winger has had any sort of performance like Hutchinson's had in almost every game at this Under-21 tournament. He's got to come into that senior team for me. Brilliant shout there, Mango. I'd love to see more of Mainu in that midfield. Kid was riddled with injuries last season. Unfortunately, hopefully he can kick on again. I mean, injuries are the key thing for a lot of players, aren't they? Between Euro 96 and under 17 Euro 2010, both England's senior and junior teams were mediocre. Only semi-finals was Rooney with 2002 under-17 squad. We've been mediocre under 20 squad for quite a number of years. I mean, before Lee Carsley came along, we hadn't reached a final since the 80s, and that was when we won it back-to-back. So he's certainly transformed the youth level. I know he's not done it on his own. Southgate, St George's Park, all these pieces have all come together, and England are producing and have been fairly now, you can say, going back to the World Cup we won at youth level a few years back. You would argue for the past 10 years, England have been producing much better younger England players. Luis de la Fuente didn't have much experience before doing well with Spain's under-21s. Look, you don't need a manager the England's senior manager does not need to have had a good club manager career. He doesn't need to. You just need to... I've said this before and I've said it again. International football is just about getting a small group of lads in a room in a short space of time, playing simple football and getting them playing for each other. It's not philosophies, tactics. It's not going into the 10th degree. It's not styles of play. It's simple. And I think that's what Southgate did, hence why he was so successful. And it's exactly what Lee Carsley's doing. Tuchel and Carsley have good communications with each other. I would argue it's probably one of the reasons why Tuchel isn't doing so well now. Is he trying to change too much? Is the club football experience that he's had actually at the minute hindering England? Does he not understand how it works yet? I'd also have Anderson in that squad, says Match Channel. Gary, what are your thoughts on Mainu and potential fit under Tuchel? Problem is Mainu now, it's a long time, isn't it? It might not be, but I'm thinking in my head, what is it, 12 months since we've seen Mainu have any sort of consistent run? He looked great, didn't he? Going back to the last tournament, but he's just not fit. He's not getting games. He's behind, I think, a number of players at the minute. I would include Gomez in that. I would include Wharton in that. I would include, dare I say, actually Henderson in that. I would, genuinely, because Mainu he's not doing anything. He needs a good season. He needs a good season, definitely. We have had problems producing deep midfielders. Now we are producing the likes of Wharton, Anderson, Scott, etc., which is great. All three of those I would put above Mainu at the minute, for an example. But I mean, it was just such a good result, and at no point, I know we went 2-0 up, and it's easy for me to say it, but I just felt, I don't know if anyone else felt it, and I go back to it because we beat Spain in the way we did. I just always felt like we were going to do it last night. I honestly did. I just never, even when it went back to 2-2, I thought we're the better team, and we were the better team. We were the better team for it. I know Germany beat us in the group stage, but you go back and look at that match, and we were the better team. They had 2 chances. They were clinical. They had a couple of set piece stuff like that. But England were the better team throughout that whole match. And at no point, I was pissed off when we conceded the second one. The second one was probably the one for me because we just looked lazy. We lost our legs for 10, 15 minutes, didn't close him down quick enough and let them back in it. But I never really felt we were going to lose it. I never did feel like that. Anderson can also play as an 8, 10 and even a male shift left winger. And the negative was Nwari struggling. He's probably one player, you could maybe argue, his stock certainly hasn't, it's not gone down, but it certainly hasn't risen since the Under-21 tournament, because I think a lot of people would have said he was going to be one of these players for England this summer in this tournament to stake his claim, to really, announce himself at the international stage and to other nations, stuff like that. And he just didn't do it, did he? He just couldn't do it. And he struggled in comparison to other players. He really did. So, look, he's had a bad tournament. Or he's not had a great tournament, should I say. It's probably more fair, actually. He's not had the best tournament. On paper, this squad is arguably half that of the 2023 under-21 squad, so great outcome. I mean, people are saying that this is a better result than the last tournament that Lee Carsley won. But all the talk in the press before, I know I'm going back 6 months now, where this apparently was the £500 million squad. This is apparently the most expensive under-21 squad, or Lee Carsley was going to have the most expensive under-21 squad on paper that has ever been anywhere. You know, this £500 million squad. And I was doubting. I genuinely didn't think England were going to come to this summer and win back-to-back Euros. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not because I didn't think we were good enough. I just thought it was a massive ask, a huge ask. You know, this is a tournament where only a handful of teams even qualify. You know, 16 teams only qualify, so you've done amazing to even get there. England's, you know, all the team's successes over the years. No teams usually dominate this tournament. So I genuinely wasn't expecting England to defend the title, even though we had a fantastic squad. It was just such a difficult task to do. And I genuinely can't believe we've gone on and done it. But it's just unbelievable. Harvey Elliott probably got the award because he's the biggest name in the squad. He got the award because he scored the important goals at the later stages of the tournament. It's as simple as that. He wasn't England's best player in the tournament. He wasn't. Some people may disagree with that, but I don't think he was by a long way, actually. I would put a handful of players above him. The only issue I have with Carsley, says Rolling Stone, is he plays a left-footed player at right back or vice versa. It unbalances the team to play on their natural position. I suppose it may have been playing the card he was dealt. I mean, the back four, we did concede goals this time, didn't we? We certainly didn't do what the last under-21 squad did and win the tournament without conceding a single goal, but the defence looks solid enough. And I think there's a couple of players there who could push themselves for a starting lineup at the summer tournament. Livramento, Kwanzaa, those players in particular, I think, yeah, they've got to be pushing, haven't they? It's even more amazing, Gary, that he's won 2 tournaments with completely different sets of players. Yeah, I think, how many was it? Was it just 2, 3? I think it was only 2 or 3, wasn't it, of the players? Harvey Elliott was one of them, but there was only 2 or 3 other players that were there when he last won it. So yeah, it was unbelievable. He's completely just done it again, hasn't he? But it comes down to, it's a simple style of football. It's the England style of football that players are growing up with now, and they know how to play the system. Everyone knows their role. That's what you felt like within that England squad, and it's because of that embedded DNA and the fact that you haven't had changes all the time at under-21 level or dare I say even at senior level for a long period of time. This is what consistency at this level brings. It really is, and simplicity. And we've got to learn the lessons from this. We have to. Tuchel, at the minute, is an experiment. It's an experiment that I don't feel is going to go the right way. I'm hoping I'm wrong. All the signs are at the minute, it's going to be a fucking disaster. If it turns out to be like that, we have to learn our lessons. Look at Southgate. Look at Carsley. Look where the success has come from. What's worked well. Look at where the success has come from other nations as well. Forget about these big name club managers. Forget about the foreign managers. Put simple people in simple roles, playing simple football. Embed that DNA over a number of years, that style of play, and you reap the rewards. So we've got to learn from that. We have to. I'm all for this experiment with Tuchel, given Southgate, but I think whatever happens, I think we've got to learn from what's working well. As an England fan, we always moan, but this tournament we can't moan at all. No. I mean, we can't. People will moan, but you're right. But it was great. It was a great performance. 2023 squad was better, which makes 2025 even more remarkable. I mean, they're better in hindsight, aren't they? Whether they turn out to be better or not. I mean, we might be looking back in 10 years' time thinking, actually, it was the 2023 squad that was weaker. You know, these players are still early on in the career. Like I said, like a lot of people have already pointed out, this was a new squad. We've only got hindsight on one set of those players at the minute, but yeah, I'm annoyed that there's more coverage of the Club World Cup than England winning a tournament. We always knew that was going to be the case, mate, didn't we? What's the Lionesses score, by the way? I mean, it was 3-0 or something, I think, when I last looked. 2015 Euro 2021 saw England grouped under Southgate in last place. Huge improvement. Exactly. We've got to learn. We've got to take the successes and run with it. I can't believe beating Miami 4-0 got live coverage. Matt, is it 7-0? Jesus Christ. I'm glad I turned it over. I mean, don't get me wrong. Well done, the Lionesses. It's But what sort of prep is that for the Euros? Anyway, moving on. Let's think about the key players who, if it was today, who's going on that plane. I think genuinely, I'm putting him out there now. Hutchinson goes, and I know that's chucking him in an area of the pitch where we're stacked, but he's done so well. He's done so well. I want Hutchinson in the senior squad next summer. I want him there. I want Anderson probably in there as well. I'm not a fan of McAtee. I'm going to come out. I'm going to just come clean with that. I think he got himself in great position last night. He made some brilliant runs, but his final third is just atrocious. I mean, he should have put the game beyond Germany last night. He should have scored. He should have got another assist. I'm just not a fan of his end product. I'm not. He's not there yet for me. Like you said a few weeks ago, Gary, Hutchinson is all your mark. Honestly, he's absolute. It was class. He was turning defenders inside out. He's got to go. He's got to go. What more do you need to see? He's taking players on. He's getting success. What do you want him to do? Delap must play as number 9 instead of Kane now. You can't take Kane off Rolling Stone. You can't. Kane is the starting striker. Let's put that to bed now. Kane is the starting striker. Delap ain't replacing him. Certainly not for next World Cup. Maybe Euro 2028, fine. Let's all have a conversation. He ain't replacing Kane for the World Cup. Hutchinson, Livramento come to mind. They do. Yeah, I'm pretty in agreement there, Match Channel. I think pretty spot on there. To be fair, the new women's qualifying no longer sees England play minnows anymore, so playing Jamaica is a sort of good idea, although better to do it in for the 2027 World Cup. I would agree Hutchinson is a must. Looks like he really enjoys playing for England. Kane can't run or press, a tactical limitation, but he's never done that though, has he? He's never done that. His link-up plays, pass. He's England's best passer by an absolute country mile. And I mean that by a tenfold. Tenfold. He's one of England's best players. He's arguably one of England's only 2 or 3 world-class players. He's starting. Kane is starting. He can't make runs in behind, I agree, but he's never been about that. And I think it's about who else can play around him. Kane has to start. Imagine if Delap and Bellingham were allowed to play in this tournament. If we are starting to say that Kane is a tactical limitation, then we really have lost the plot. Charlie, I agree. He's class. He's absolute class. You play to Kane's strengths because he's that good. You literally do build the starting lineup around Kane. That's what I'd do. I would agree. I would also chuck Saka into that. I think Saka is. I can't. But I've rang Saka's praise for so long, and there was even a point where people were questioning who's better, Foden or Saka. Saka is a world-class player. He is world-class. The choice of playing Jamaica was also so they could sell more tickets. Well, he's only at Leicester. I mean, from what I saw, the state of the pitch at Leicester, Jesus. I'm not saying Kane is a fraud, but teams can take advantage of the lack of pace. But then, yeah, I agree, but then you've got to put pace in around him, haven't you? And there is pace. There can be pace in this squad. Hutchinson, there's one. Get him in. Get him running off Kane, and Kane will feed the hutch. I'm telling you now. Kane, Bellingham, Rice, Saka are world-class players. Yeah. No, I'd agree with that. Yeah. But you've got to build. Kane ain't being dropped. Kane's still a far better player than Delap by a country mile. Put Rice at centre back, Wharton, Anderson, and Bellingham midfield. The problem is, Rolling. I hear you. I hear what you're saying, but what you're trying to do is fit players in that don't actually fit in, or putting square pegs in round holes. And I think we've seen, and I think this is the one thing I do agree with Tuchel, is that he's trying, and this is what we saw at Arsenal, and the reason why you look back on Rice at Arsenal last season and how good he was. He was so good at Arsenal last season. He was so good because he was allowed freedom to go forward. Rice is such a better player going forward than sitting back. He's wasted at the back. So I don't think that's the answer. We'll miss Kane when he's gone. We'll never replace his goals. 100%, mate. We'll miss Pickford. I mean, Pickford, criminal. Criminal, the lack of respect Jordan Pickford gets. Absolutely criminal. Even more than Kane. Absolutely criminal. Kane's never been a running behind striker, yet everyone thinks it's quality he's lost. He's just a great goal scorer, exactly. Rice at centre-back won't work. Kane being dropped won't work. I mean, you want to do that, then talk about weakening England. I think that's how you do weaken us, mate. Without even the opposition having to do anything. You think you're playing into their hands there, taking arguably our best player off the pitch and playing one of our other better players out of position. Ain't the way we're going to win the World Cup. For me. We can only theorise, can't we? Because I very much doubt that Tuchel is going to put Rice at centre-back. Kane is preparing for next year, Bayern doing us favours. It's interesting that people are still talking about these players that weren't there, your Whartons, your Delaps, stuff like that. And we just need to be careful. At the end of the day, you've got to put players in that are deserving it and, earn their call up. And like we said, 12 months is a long way away. Ultimately, not a single one of these players who've won this tournament this summer, their place will not be decided on the plane next summer by how they performed in this tournament. It's gone and forgotten. Next month, this tournament's gone and forgotten. So they've got to have good club performances. They've got to have a good club season. So some of these players who are struggling to start or whatever, they need to make the right moves for their own careers and for their own ambitions. I'm looking at you, Harvey Elliott. Yeah, I think he's got to move, hasn't he? He's got to move Liverpool. Otherwise, he ain't going. He is not. I mean, UEFA can call him player of the tournament. England can lord over him, whatever. He ain't going next summer, I don't think, unless he leaves Liverpool. He's got to go. I got a funny feeling Delap might hit 30 goals, no comps. This will provoke debates. I mean, look, if he does, great. I still don't think you drop Kane. But if he does, that's exactly what England need. Graham Souness said Rice is a centre-back in midfield. Anderson is a playmaker in midfield and can tackle as good as Rice. Rice is the generational Carlton Palmer in midfield. I don't know. I hear you, Rolling Stone, but he ain't a centre-back. He hasn't played there in ages. He's much better going forward. I just don't buy that. Can we all agree we shouldn't be third favourites? No. I mean, the way the senior team, the way we're playing now, we should be fifth or sixth favourites. Genuinely, we're fucking shite at the minute. But the players are there, and I think most importantly, a system's there. A system's there to model and just to play free-flowing football and just to relax a little bit. And Tuchel's he's trying too hard, I think, to create something that isn't there or maybe doesn't even fit the players he's got. And this is the thing. This is the difference again between club and international football, and I don't think Tuchel's getting it. With international football, you've got to change your tactics to the players you've got and fit a team around them because it's not club football where you train them up to do another thing and bring new players in. It ain't going to work like that. You're going to look who you're going to be regularly picking and think, right, this is the system I'm going to play. McAtee needs to move on, 100%. 100% needs to move on. Harvey Elliott needs to move on. These players, these sorts of players, they've got to move. For their own career, they have to move. Rice is never a centre-back. He's the best box-to-box midfielder in the world. Souness is a bellend, says Andrew Joyce. I'd agree with you there, mate. Graham Souness is talking pish as Crystal. If international football was a league event, England might have won Euro 2020. But if anything, cup tournaments play into England's favour. Well, they haven't historically, have they? It's just... I mean, the funny thing is we've just got... I mean, the other thing I wanted to show you, actually, just reminded me of something. An absolutely insane statistic. And this is what I'm saying about don't chuck out things that are working. And hence why I'm a bit touchy about Tuchel being in charge at the minute. But I get it. But England... So just I saw this and I thought I needed to share this. England have been in 4 of the last European finals, senior and under-21s. So all of the last 4 European finals at youth and senior level, England have been in every single final. How sick is that? How good is that? We've got to take this. I mean, And then what's the FA gone and done? Hired a foreign manager and decided to throw everything out with the bathwater. You know what I mean? It's starting to think about, have we done the right thing here? But give Tuchel the opportunity. I'm going back to the fact, though, if it doesn't work out, we've got to learn the lessons and take what's worked. There's clearly a lot that has worked over this past 8 years. We've got to carry it on. Souness was one of the greatest midfielders ever. Loads of ex-pros have said his best position is centre-back. Insofar as England finished higher, second, third or fourth in the most recent Euros and the World Cups, winner a league might have been... I'm with you, okay. I think Tuchel would be a genius, but just needs to show it. He needs to learn quickly that he hasn't got possibly the time he wants or necessarily needs to do what he's trying to do, and he needs to take the learning from these games and think, right, that hasn't worked. And ultimately, with international football, you've got to find something that works the next game, because you haven't got pre-season, you haven't got a number of games to try and find your way. If that system hasn't worked, or that style of play doesn't work, or that player doesn't work, you've got to swap them out. You haven't got time to be pissing about. And I think Lee Carsley sort of realised that after he made the changes in the second game, and we drew that second game when he took Hutchinson off, stuff like that. And then after that, he started to keep more of a consistent team on the pitch. If you was in the FA, who would you pick as manager? Lee Carsley. Lee Carsley. I wouldn't have got... I'd have been throwing everything I had at Gareth Southgate to stay. Jojo, initially. But if that wasn't the case, I'd have gone for Lee Carsley. Tuchel will be the success or failure, but yeah, he needs a solid foundation rather than bizarre experiments. He does, and it just feels like he's trying to force something that isn't there at the minute. I was happy. I mean, I was happy with the Tuchel appointment, but it ain't working out at the minute, and I know it's dead early. I'm fully aware of that. And I've said this before. Ultimately, he's going to be determined on how he performs in these next round of international fixtures when we've got Serbia away, because that's the group. I've said it numerous times in other videos. Tuchel's England career and the group and our qualification for the next World Cup, it rests in this next international window. If we beat Serbia away from home, it's job done. Happy days, and we'll all worry about next summer. But the way we're playing at the minute, Serbia away is, Jesus, honestly, what a tough challenge that's going to be. Tuchel said we don't have a player like Rodri. He is wrong. We have Wharton, who is going to be better. I mean, I'm hearing so much love for Wharton. We just all need to calm down a little bit. Is he that good? You're totally right, Gary. Would have to throw everything at Southgate to stay. I would have done. I absolutely would have done. And look, I'm not saying I disagree about Wharton. I'm as optimistic as everybody else. I genuinely am. I'm just saying, calm down, because he hasn't done it yet. He hasn't done anything yet. It's just, I think Wharton in particular was one of the most bizarre ones. Why didn't he go? Why didn't he go this summer to the under-21s? I do not get it. Injury, whatever, but other teams are obviously at the Club World Cup. The Adam Wharton one, I don't know if I've missed something in the press why he isn't there. I just don't get why he wasn't there this summer. But Jojo, who cares if he's not successful? I mean, you say not successful. I mean, sorry, he was successful, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. And was it that bad? Genuinely, I think everyone's like, he's boring and all that lot, but I think I'm in my mid-30s, and every single moment I can think of that's given me utter euphoria watching England, everything has came in the last 5 to 7, 8 years under Gareth Southgate. Nothing in the previous 20 odd, or very few. So I was happy with this style. I remember McLaren faffing around with 3-5-2 and 4-5-1 until England went back to 4-4-2 versus Croatia, but lost and did not quite. Exactly, mate. I ain't got time to be pissing about. The concern about leaving a lap out on the cold is he might decide to play for Ireland. They are trying to stay. Look, I've always had two opinions about this. When you've got players who have sort of this dual nationality, them and are in, leave them. Because if they really want to play for us, they'll play for us. They will. If they don't, then I don't want him in the squad anyway. If he decides to pick Ireland, fine, he's picked Ireland. Let him get on with it. He wasn't right for us then, because I don't want anyone in this squad with split loyalties or isn't sure if they want to be there or are in, whether they want to represent England. Because I tell you what, every single one of us and a number of other young men, women, whatever, wouldn't think twice about representing England. They're the people I want in this squad. They're the people I want wearing this shirt. So, if he goes, I ain't bothered. I ain't bothered about any player who decides to go and play for another country. Let him get on with it. I only want players who are 100% committed to England, like I am, like you are, like all of us watching, and that's all that matters. Wharton was suffering badly from his injury. He had memory problems. Okay. Why on earth does Delac want to play for Ireland? They are abysmal. He won't do it until he's 28 without an England cap. Apparently, his dad wants him to play for Ireland there after Job too. Carsley played for Ireland but manages England 21. Ireland isn't the same team from 1994 anymore. Look, I've said my piece on that. I don't rest my case. It is what it is. I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered. The way England are producing talent at the minute, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. There'll be someone else coming through. 3 Lions, Joe playing for Ireland, give your head a shake, pal. I mean, he ain't going to, particularly with Jude playing, and if his career carries on the way it is, he ain't going to be, he's not going to lock thing, hang on a minute, I've got the chance to play with my brother for England, or do I go and play for Ireland? He ain't going to, is he? Scotland are sniffing around Scotland too. Who from under 21 will make it to the senior team? You can't say Harvey Elliott or Livramento. I think Anderson's in with a shout. If he has another good season, he might have to leave Forest just because of the club syndrome and all that lot. Kwanzaa, big fan of him, huge fan of him, and I think sometimes defenders get better with age. I don't mind Beadle. I mean, you could argue he could have done probably better on one of the goals last night, but I don't mind him. Hutchinson as well. I think Hutchinson's class. Anderson has enough time to choose Scotland. Plenty of players of Irish descent capped by England. Kane, Maguire, Gallagher, Bellingham, Rooney and Carrick. Yeah, look, honestly, everyone needs to calm down. Don't worry about it. If they're good enough, they'll end up in England. If they ain't, they'll end up in Ireland. Just put it like that. It's literally, that's it. They'll end up in England's B team, which will be Ireland or Scotland. If they ain't going to cut it with us, and if they're good enough, they'll end up with England. So do not worry about it. But I stand by my thing where I only want players who want to play for England. I don't want players who are torn between two nations. I really don't. Right. I know it's only 45 minutes in, but I promise you now, you might not tell, but in this room, it is about 1,000 degrees. Anyone who's in the UK at the minute is absolutely sweltering hot. It's only going to get hotter, so I am looking at winding down a little bit earlier today. But what a result. I mean, surely senior success is only around the corner. Come on, please tell me now, there's 15 to 20 of you in this chat. Surely it's a matter of when, not if, for senior success. Surely that's the case. And this might, in anyone who's listening, this isn't me saying England have a God-given right to win a tournament. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, surely this youth success has to at some point translate into a senior trophy. Surely. It's bizarre that Hutchinson got 2 Jamaica caps now. He's good bet for England seniors. Hutchinson and Rice binned off Jamaica and Ireland, having already played friendlies for them. Joey, it is, mate. Do you have a combined 11 between the 2 winning teams of 2002? I haven't, actually, mate. Well, I probably would have, but I'm not going to be able to do it right now. I'd have to give that some time, mate. I'd have to have both maps out. World Cups and Euros can be a bit of a lottery. France lost penalties to Switzerland in Euro 2020 in a crazy game. I know, and ultimately England haven't had the luck over the years, and luck has played a part in it, but come on. Surely it's a matter of time. Surely it's a matter of time. I think on that, we'll leave it there. Thank you all so much for watching. Some videos will be coming next week. Now I'm back from holiday. Had a great break. Really needed it. So, more England content to come. Obviously, the Women's Euros now. Can we defend that title? Can we defend the Women's European Cup? Even less optimistic, but that lack of optimism has served me well so far. Because I didn't think we were going to win the Euros with the under-21s, and I didn't think we were going to beat Spain in that either. So I'm keeping with that theme, and hopefully it has the same sort of run-off knock-on effect on the Lionesses. will be 28 euros when we see the real fruits of last night's wins. Absolutely, mate. I mean, there should be some players who should come through. Like I said, a lot of, international football or club football has changed now. A lot of teenagers have made it big, that they're doing what they need to do. I mean, you could argue if a player's 23, 24, 25, they're really late in blossoming their career in this day and age. But maybe you're right, Three Lions. But if any of them's going to do it, you'd expect a small few of them, 2, 3 of them, to probably make an impact on this senior squad, surely. 1990 World Cup and Euro 96 was 50-50 between England and Germany. Well, didn't go our way, did it? Pogba coming back from France will be a big plus for them. Great show, Gary, says Andrew. Thank you all so much. Well, thank you, Andrew. Thank you, everybody watching. Come on, England. What a way to start a summer. What a way. It's given the Lionesses and the England men's senior team, hopefully, a bit of a rocket up their arse as well. It's given Tuchel a blueprint in which to, run with and explore. And it's given him a talent pool even bigger than what he possibly thought he had. Great success. Well done, Lee Carsley. I think he's going to stay. I can't say why would he give up a pretty now cushy number with England under 21s to go to a club. He won't. I'll be gobsmacked if he does. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a great week at work, school, or just doing nothing, whatever you're doing. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I will see you all on my next video.